Welcome to the class, students of Standard 9. Which class is this? Yes, this is the English Literature period. What is the topic for today? An astrologer's day. Can you name the chapter? Yes, chapter 9. Which part of the video are we going to do today? Yes, it is part 5. We have completed 4 videos of the astrologer's day written by R.K. Narayan. Alright, today we are going to see the astrologer. We saw how he was dressed up, how he used to go to his usual place under the tamarind tree, speak to his clients, and how his day ended as he collected things and was about to move. A last client we saw had entered in the previous video. Let's continue. The other grumbled. Who is this other now? The client. What did he say? You look careworn. You please sit down. It will be good if you talk to me. This is what he had said. The other grumbled. That means the person, the client grumbled. Grumbled means said something under his breath. Some reply vaguely, not clear. The astrologer pressed his invitation. Did he give him an invitation card and press it or something? Pressed his invitation means again told him, please sit down, you can chat with me. Pressed his invitation, whereupon the other thrust his palm under his nose, saying, you call yourself an astrologer? So what did he do? The other one, he took his hand, his palm, put it under the nose of the astrologer and said, you call yourself an astrologer? The astrologer felt challenged and said, tilting the other's palms towards the green shaft of light. Why did he tilt his hand or palm? To see the lines. Very good. The light was not enough, so he was trying to get some light on it. Yours is a nature. He started saying something. Yours is a nature. Oh, stop that, the other said. Tell me something worthwhile. So he says, don't talk about my nature. I know it. You can tell me something worthwhile. Worthwhile means worth noting. So what is challenged? Doubted. The astrologer felt as if the other one who had come doubted him that he's an astrologer. Isn't it? And worthwhile means beneficial. So he's saying, tell me something that is beneficial. I don't want you to talk about my nature. Our friend piqued. P-I-Q-U-E-D. Who is our friend now? The astrologer. I charge only 3 paise per question, and what you get ought to be good on enough for your money. So he's saying, for every question of yours, I ask for only 3 paise. And I'm sure you will get whatever is correct for your money. That means I'll give you the right answer. At this, the other withdrew his arm. Withdrew his arm means pulled back his palm. Took out an anna. In those days, anna was in use. And flung it out to him saying, I have some questions to ask. He took some anna and he threw it over there. Flung means to throw it. Threw it at him and said, I have some questions to ask. If you'll prove you are bluffing, you must return that anna to me with interest. Did you understand? First he challenged him. Alright, then this fellow said, I will for every question I'm asking you only 3 paise. And whatever answer I'm going to give you is going to be correct for that money. So this one got irritated. He pulled back his palm, this client, threw out an anna at him and he said, I have some questions to ask. And I'm giving you these annas. If you cannot answer properly, you bluff. Bluff means just cook up stories. You have to return this anna plus some interest. You know what is interest, isn't it? Yes. If you find my answer satisfactory, will you give me 5 rupees? The astrologer is asking. If you find that I answered all your questions correctly, happily, satisfactorily, okay. Will you give me 5 rupees? No. Or will you give me 8 annas? He's saying, okay, you won't give me 5 rupees. Will you give me 8 annas? He's asking. Piqued means hurt. So what does he say? All right, provided you give me twice as much if you are wrong. So the astrologer and he have a, what is that? A bet, a challenge. If the astrologer answers everything correctly, he will give him 8 annas. But in case he doesn't answer correctly, he'll have to return to him double the money, twice as much, 16 annas. This pact means agreement, was accepted after a little further argument. They agreed to this, understanding that the astrologer has to return 16 annas if he did not answer properly. And if he answered everything properly, the client had to give him 8 annas. The astrologer sent up a prayer to the heaven as the other lit a cheroot. Now what happened? This pact was agreed upon. They agreed on this, and now the astrologer sent up a prayer to pray to God now. Dear God, help me. Let me do everything properly. And what did the other man do? He lit his cheroot. Cheroot is cigar or cigarette. The astrologer caught a glimpse of his face by the matchlight. The astrologer caught a glimpse. A glimpse means just he looked at his face for a second. There was a pause as cars hooted on the road. Pause, silence, no talk. Cars hooted on the road. Cars were moving at great speed. Jatka drivers swore at their horses. They shout, kicking the horses, asking them to move. And the babble of the crowd agitated the semi-darkness of the park. So the park was slowly getting darker, and the babble of the crowd going on, continuous talking. The other sat down, that is the client, sucking his cheroot, puffing out, and sat there ruthlessly. Ruthlessly, not bothered about anything, he was there. The astrologer felt very uncomfortable. It is late for me today. He made preparations to bundle up. The other held the wrist and said, you can't get out of it now. So he said, see, it's already late for me. Let me go. But the other one pulled his hand, held his wrist, and he said, you cannot get out of it now. Now we have made a pact also. You dragged me in while I was passing. I was just passing. You called me in and said you are looking very tired, you can sit down, you can talk and all that. The astrologer shivered in his grasp. When do you shiver? When you have a fear, when you're cold, when you have high fever, you shiver. So he held him so tightly that he shivered. And his voice shook and became faint. Yes, I have to go now. Like that, his voice became very soft. Leave me today, I will speak to you tomorrow. So he says, leave me for today, I'll speak to you tomorrow. The other thrust his palm in his face and said, challenge is challenge, go on. The astrologer proceeded with his throat drying up. There is a woman. So what does he do? The astrologer, he stops the astrologer by putting his hand on his face literally and saying, challenge is a challenge. You finish the talk today, then only you can leave. So the astrologer slowly, dry throat means out of fear. He says, there is a woman. Ruthlessly, heartlessly. Glimpse means a glance. Stop, said the other. I don't want all that. Shall I succeed in my present search or not? Answer this and go. He started, no, there was a woman or something he started. He's saying, shut up, I don't want to listen to any such thing. Tell me whether I will succeed in my present search or not. Answer this and then you go. Otherwise, I will not allow you to go till you disgorge all your coins. The astrologer muttered a few incantations and replied, all right, I will speak. So he acted as if he was praying. He said some words, Aim, Om, Shreem, like that they say, isn't it? Some words he muttered, and then he said, okay, I will speak. But will you give me a rupee if what I say is convincing? So he's saying, whatever I tell you, if it is convincing, will you give me a rupee? Otherwise, I will not open my mouth, and you may do what you like. So he's saying, see, if you find my answers are convincing, can you give me a rupee? Otherwise, I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. You do what you want. After a good deal of haggling means thinking and, discussing, the others agreed. The astrologer said, you were left for dead. Am I right? So he tells him, you were left for dead. That means you had almost died. You were left in that state. Am I right? Tell me more. A knife has passed through you once, said the astrologer. Good fellow. He bared his chest to show the scar. Bared his chest means uncovered the clothes from his chest to show his chest. And yes, what was there? There was a scar. What else? And then you were pushed into a well nearby in the field. You were left for dead, the astrologer is saying. I should have been dead if some passerby had not chanced to peep into the well, exclaimed the other, overwhelmed by enthusiasm. So the client was now overwhelmed, very surprised that he got his answer. So he was full of enthusiasm and he said, if that day some passerby had not peeped into the well, I would have been dead. When shall I get at him? He asked, clenching his fist. Say, I'm looking for that person who did this to me. When shall I get him? He says. And he was clenching his fist, already tightening his fist to or act as if he would beat him up. Incantations, words said as magic spell, muttered, talked or grumbled in secret, convincing, satisfying, haggling, bargaining persistently over a price, bared, uncovered, scar, a mark left on the skin or within body tissue after the healing of a wound or a burn, enthusiasm, interest, overwhelmed, flooded, clenching, tightening, disgorge, bring up. Have you all understood all this, children? Now the story so far. The astrologer worked hard every day through analysis of man's troubles, marriage, money and tangles of humanity. Due to long practice, his perception was well developed. His charges were 3 paise per question. He was able to get to the root of the problem in just 5 minutes. His loving, understanding words made the customers happy. During the end of the day, a careworn person came, challenged him to tell about him. There was a lot of haggling, and then the astrologer started talking about the past incidents in the life of the other person. Have you all understood so much? Okay. To summarize, the astrologer's past, his learnings, the people he worked with, a special client, and the meanings of the words. Answer the following questions in your notebooks. How much did the astrologer charge for his new client? Why did the astrologer remain silent for at least 10 minutes initially? What was the signal for the astrologer to bundle up? Give the meanings of the following words and make sentences with the same words. Muttered, enthusiasm, challenges, grumbled, ancestral. Thank you.